Good morning students, welcome to physical education class of class plus 1. Today we are going to discuss the second part of the chapter psychology and sports. In this video module we are going to cover adolescence and its problems, manage problems of adolescence, laws of learning, transfer of learning, plate of learning, emotions and management. First of all, adolescent problems and their management. Adolescence is the period through which a growing person makes transition from childhood to maturity. It is the period of great stress, strain, storm and strife. And it is the period in which a child tries to become capable of doing everything by himself or herself. In adolescence, the first problem is physical problem. There are internal and external growth of organs, physical appearance, development of sexual organs. The mental problems can be considered as the part of stress and tension are the common problems, difficulty in cooperation, maladjustment. Next one, the problem of aggressive behavior, tendency to be aggressive, to become irritated easily, tendency to revolt and to strike and to fight. Fourth one, lack of stability and adjustment. It's a continuous alteration in behavior. So the person would not be able to adjust with the new situation. Lack of stability will be always changing from the decision. Then find difficulty in working in a team sometimes. Then difficult to coordinate with others. Feel parental and peer pressure all the time. Then emotional problems. Live intensely emotional life. Wide fluctuation in emotion. That's why easy to anger, easy to hate, easy to love, and at the same time easy to be irritated. Sixth one, problems related to sex. Opposite sex attraction is considered to be the major issue. Most of the time curious and leads to trouble. An intention to talk and to mingle with the opposite sex that creates problems. Then problems of self-support. One by this time wants to make one's relation, one's own place in the society or a better stand, better place in the society. Social recognition, that's what is considered. Second one, want to be the use of the family, friends and society. Sometimes if the feeling of unwantedness may lead to chaotic situation. Career selection problem. Eighth one, feeling of importance. Expect respect from others but not receive this period. Fear of disgrace or fear of being ashamed by others. Fear of disgrace and disrespect make the people or make the students of this age rebels. Ninth one, social issues. Want to change the customs and traditions of the society but at the same time not able to change it. Peer group is most important by this period. The friends and their guidance will be considered more valuable. Easy to fall prey to vices like smoking, drinking and drugs. How to manage adolescent problems. First one, education for motor development. It should be encouraged to play. The students or the teenagers of this particular time should be encouraged to play various games and sports. By that, the mood of the mind would be converted to something else. Next one, education of psychology. Parents and teachers should be given the basic knowledge of adolescent psychology, that they would be able to understand their children easily and their feeling. Interaction of teacher, student and parent children is considered really necessary, because he or she is to be considered really valuable at home as well as in school. Then management of adolescent problem with sex education. It is natural to have attraction each other, especially for the opposite sex, and no information breeds misconception. So then what the friends would be said would be received or considered as a counsel. Then proper sex education is required in this period. Information should be disseminated through parents and teachers. Vocational guidance. Vocational guidance is very important for adolescents. So should be based on intelligence, capabilities, aptitude and interest of the child. And future education and career is based upon vocational guidance. So after the education, there should be a chance of getting job. Moral and religious education. That is also considered to be vital, very important. Moral education should be imparted in school. Religious education is generally provided at home or even religious educational centers, or even otherwise the places of worship. Indiscipline, anxiety and tension can be tackled. So the next one is provide suitable environment. Suitable environment for growth and development is necessary for a child of this period. Environment should consist of proper facilities and opportunities. There should be balanced diet and discipline in this period. Then adequate independence, sufficient freedom. Adolescents want freedom in every facet of life. They should be allowed to express their views freely, and due importance should be given to their views, or their views are to be considered. Socializing activities like picnic, trekking, hiking can be organized, can be used to encourage the students of this particular age. Then social education. Adjustment with others in the society should be taught by the teachers as well as by the parents. Too much dependency on others, whether it is friends or on teachers or parents, that should be discouraged by this period. Opportunities for interaction with elders and younger ones should be provided through social functions. The next one is laws of learning. What is learning? A process that depends on experience and leads to long-term changes in behavior potential. A process by which behavior originates or is altered through training or experience. Any relatively permanent change in behavior that occurs as a result of practice and experience also can be called as learning. It is a continuous and universal process. It is purposive and goal-oriented, that the learner would achieve something. The laws of learning. Psychologist Thorndike propounded laws of learning. There can be two types of laws: primary laws of learning and secondary laws of learning. First one, primary laws of learning: laws of readiness, laws of effect, laws of exercise. Then secondary laws of learning: law of cognitivity, law of attitude, and law of belongingness, law of similarity, law of primacy, law of recency, and law of contrast. The first one, law of readiness, as the part of primary laws, also known as the law of preparedness. The learner learns when he is ready to learn. That means when the child is not ready, better not to teach. Then law of readiness continues. Maturity and interest are essential for readiness. Until a child is physically and mentally ready to learn, he cannot learn, and the learning process will be annoying or dissatisfying and unpleasant. Motivation is the aspect of readiness. An environment should be created so that the child should be eager and curious to learn the activity. Suppose when the child comes in the class after doing some physical activity, if a class is taken directly without starting any rapport, that would discourage learning. Children would not be ready to learn something by the time. Their body got physically exerted and they are not willing to learn something. Then second one, law of effect. If the effort in doing any work is enjoyable or pleasant, the individual tries to learn that activity quickly and learns it too. It is directly related to the success and failure. Success brings satisfaction to the person, which leads the person towards learning. If it is failure, just opposite may happen. The law of exercise. The connections are strengthened with trial and practice, and the connections are weakened when trial or practice is discontinued. Then it is also known as the law of use and disuse. Law of effect and law of exercise work together. Organs of body which are used become powerful. Law is applied in all sports activities. Swimming cannot be learned through correspondence course. Then secondary laws of learning. Law of cognitivity, also known as the law of association. One condition may match with many other conditions. When we think about one's object, all objects related to it will also be remembered. Poems are easy to remember as the words and lines are associated with each other. Law of attitude. Learning depends on our propensity or attitude, how we view or how we think about a particular subject, or how much importance we give to a particular subject. That makes learning that particular subject. Law of belongingness. If the mutual relationship between stimulus and response is natural, then learning is more effective. Natural learning like running, jumping is easy to learn, but unnatural activity like running backward is difficult to learn. Law of similarity. Learner reacts on the basis of his past experiences. It's easy for a long jumper to learn triple jump. So the similar way of learning should be applied in the class. Then law of primacy. Based on first impression is the last impression. So what we receive in the beginning would last or would be the part of our life forever. Law of recency. The experiences that are learnt recently remain fresh in memory. If first impression is the last impression is the lasting impression. Then law of contrast. If we learn an activity properly, we also learn it quickly and easily. Learning opposite words, synonyms together, can help one remember them quickly and always. The last one is law of learning, transfer of learning. The ability to extend what has been learned in one context to new context. The carryover of habits of thinking, feeling, or working of knowledge or of skills from one learning area to another area. Then process of using knowledge or skills acquired in one context to new context. Influence of previous experiences on performing a skill in new context in learning or learning a new skill. So transfer of learning should be based on that extension. So what was earlier, from there it is to be extended to the new one. The habits of thinking, feeling, working, and knowledge of a particular skill, from that area it is to be developed to further. Likewise, the knowledge of skills acquired once is to be applied and is to be experimented with the new context. And like that, the performance of a particular skill in the new context is also equal to learning a new skill. Then types of transfer in learning. First one, positive transfer. When learning is in one context enhances a related performance in another context. Basketball player finds it easier learn handball. Negative transfer. When learning of one skill makes learning of another skill difficult. A squash player finds it difficult to stop using the wrist during the shot. Then third one, application transfer. When previous learning is applied successfully to the life situation, is called as application transfer. Application of the transfer from particular situation to another or a new situation. Bilateral transfer. When learning one side of the body improves performance of the corresponding other side of the body. A chance in right foot performance as a result of left foot training in football. Fifth one, proactive transfer. Learning of a skill affects learning of the skill yet to be learned. In tennis, first learning of the forehand shot and then applying this skill to learn topspin shot. Retroactive transfer. When learning new skill affects the previously learned skill. A hockey player learning the flicking skill may affect the previously learned push pass. Next one is the factors affecting transfer of learning. The first part is learner's will. According to the learners, whether it is positive or negative, whether it is ready to receive or not, that transfer of learning will happen. Learner's intelligence, capacity of brain to receive. Learner's personal achievements. So that makes motivation, confidence, and would be making the learners to achieve more. Identical subject matter. Same type of subject matters are taught, then transfer of learning is easier. Training in transfer. So proper training should be given to the person. By that he or she may easily change from one situation to another. So would be able to apply the learning transferred from one area of skill to the other. Depth of original understanding. What is being done, that should be understood, and the concept of that doing should be clear. Then plate of learning. Plate and causes of plate. What is plate? When a skill is learned, Initially, rapid progress is made by the learner. However, after some time, the progress is stopped and no amount of training makes any improvement. This stage is called plate of learning. Plate of learning is common phenomenon. It may occur again and again. So earlier you can see the diagram shows that in the initial period there was rapid progress, and after some time the progress started to just go with the straight line, and progress has stopped, and with the same way it started to move, and when a combatant comes, by the time again the curve starts moving up. What are the causes of plate of learning? Deficiency in physical power. So after reaching a particular height of learning curve, it stops because of physiological power may be less, or may not be properly trained. Then too much time spent in one training environment. So if the person who would be doing this activity, if he or she would be spending too much time in one sort or one type of training environment for longer time, that will make him to stay with the same line of plate. Then competition schedule. So whether the climate and what's the time of this particular event, all these things affect. Then less interest to grow further, that is another trouble. Then too rapid progress at the start. In the beginning there was too rapid progress was there, it was not slow and steady. If it was too rapid, then again the same type of issue may happen. Use of old methods of training. Antiquated methods of training may lead to the stagnance of the continuity of learning plate. Lack of concentration. So if sufficient concentration is not there, that is also another reason. Toughness of the skill. So if the skill is really tough, then also it can happen. Fatigue and staleness. After reaching to a particular point of achievement, if the learner stops there, there is a reason, and it can be of fatigue. And poor coaching or training. If the proper support is given to the person, he or she may continue the progress. Then environmental pollution as well as environmental issues. How to eliminate the plate and or the stagnancy. The period of plate can be reduced but cannot be avoided. The length can be reduced because after continuous achievement there is a pause that happens, that is common. Psychologists say plate is the part of learning, so that's why there is no need to be worried of. Trainers should use psychological methods to reduce the period. Emotions. Emotions are a mood or stirred up state of feeling or feelings in individual linked with some tendency. There are psychological changes associated with each emotion. Strong agitation of the feeling acute by experiencing love, hate, fear, accompanied by increased heartbeat or respiration, crying or shaking, can bring out the change. Then disturbs logical thinking. So emotions are a hurdle for the logical thinking. It changes the facial expression. How to control emotions? Control breathing. Second one is meditation. Third one is repression. Fourth one is introspection. Fifth one, suggestions by coaches or teachers. Avoid a situation of emotional exposure or emotional turbulence. Then redirection. Then practice progressive muscle relaxation and exercise. This is the end of the video. Thank you for watching this video. Stay at home, stay safe. Wish you a beautiful day. Thank you.